The following program contains graphic descriptions of the life of Muhammad. If you suffer from the notion that all religions are equal, this show might not be right for you. Check with your local imam.
Standing for truth in the four corners of America. Fighting for justice on the frontiers of the culture wars. And turning resistance into an art form. The only TV host arrested more times than Mahatma Gandhi, Randall Terry.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the broadcast that you will see on this calendar day. Is it the night, the day? I don't know when you're watching it. Are you watching it on television, online? I don't know. But this I know. We're going to look at the 7 presidential candidates. What drives them? What are their strong points? What are their weak points on the Republican side? I went recently through the highs and the lows of their presidential debate in Las Vegas. Now I want to dig a little bit deeper and hopefully help you to look at them through the light, through the grid of principle, Christian principle, biblical principle. Because if we are going to have a leader that replaces Obama and actually helps restore this republic, it can't be somebody who takes us off the cliff at a little bit slower speed than Barack Hussein Obama. Today's program brought to you in part by David Lewis for Congress. He's running against the Speaker of the House, John Boehner. And by Gary Boyd-Clare for Congress. He's running against the Muslim, Keith Ellison, who swore his oath on a Quran. Gary Boyd-Clare, huh? Who is this guy anyway? I'll be right back after a quick word from my friend, Sir Reginald Blaney.
Just turn the thing on, I got something to say. Have you seen my man Herman Cain? He has got the Republican establishment in some kind of crazy fit. He has the Democratic establishment in some kind of insane fomenting at the mouth. Let me tell you what's going on right now. You got people like the Reverend Jesse Jackson and that crazy man in New York with that big bouffant hairdo. I don't even know what his name is, Al Sharpton or some crazy. They are all trying to plan a way to say to the black African-American community, you will stay put in a Democratic plantation. The white man is keeping you down. You need more quotas. You are the victim of discrimination. The government needs to give you more handouts. You better stay in the plantation or we are gonna... They just have to make it look like it was the white folk that kept Herman Cain out of the White House, not the black folk. Guess what? Jesse, Al, you done been passed up by the bus. It don't matter if you want to ride on the front, on the back, or up on the top. The bus done passed you, homeboys.
Welcome, friend, to the broadcast. It is I, your servant, Randall. Recently, CNN televised a debate on national television from Las Vegas of all of the Republican candidates vying for office, except for John Huntsman, who boycotted the debate. We're going to look tonight in depth at what is making or breaking each of these candidates. I intend to focus on principle and strategy for each candidate in the hopes of helping you to look at them critically, not through the lens of MSNBC, CNN, Fox, or the other networks that are trying to pigeonhole each of these candidates that you see over my shoulder. They want this to be a two-man race, desperately. They wanted it to be between Perry and Romney. Before that, they wanted it to be between Bachmann and Perry. And before and after that, they wanted it to be between Romney and Cain. We have got to stop falling prey to them and then look at who these men and this woman are and analyze them and their positions and the way they're running their campaign and who their advisors are so that we can determine who might be the best president to follow this horrifying man in the White House, Barack Hussein Obama. All right, we're going to go in the order that they are in the CNN picture, from the fringe into the center. Let's start with Michelle Bachmann. I believe that Michelle Bachmann is a devout Christian. Michelle Bachmann systematically destroyed herself. You may remember that not only was she the darling of the Tea Party and she won the Iowa straw poll, but you may remember that she's the one who called for some of the big protests and big rallies in Washington, D.C. against not just Barack Obama, but against the establishment. Not just against the establishment, but against the establishment within her own party. She became a darling of the Tea Party and had the chance to actually win this nomination because the people who were the Sarah Palin fans began to flock to her. Okay? What did she do wrong? She ran against herself. When they started to grill her husband about his views on homosexuality, rather than just stand up for traditional marriage, biblical marriage, Christian marriage, natural law marriage, the sacrament of marriage, she ran from it. She ran from it. Rather than play to her strength, the Tea Party, she hired Ed Rollins, who is an establishment Republican to the core. In other words, here she was, the outsider against the Republican establishment. And who does she hire? The Republican establishment. What do you think they did to her? They disemboweled her. They tried to make her moderate. They tried to make her middle of the road. They tried to get her to run for the presidency before she won the Republican nomination. And she self-destructed. Now, what that says to me is that her 5 years in the U.S. House were not enough, or perhaps her discipleship, her training, her catechism as a Christian, were not enough to make her a principled person to be the same way prior to the election of 2010 as she is today. When she was playing to the Tea Party, this rabble-rousing group, or the rabble-rouser against the Republican establishment, she was one voice. And then, when she wanted to become the Republican nominee, she suddenly became another person, and it wasn't her. And it did not inspire anyone. And her supporters drifted away in droves until now she's in low single digits. She will bail out of this race very quickly. And it was self-destruction on her part because she did not hold true to her principles. All right, Rick Santorum. Rick Santorum is a good man. Michelle Bachmann is an evangelical. Rick Santorum is a devout Roman Catholic. He truly loves the Lord. He helped himself get thrown out of the Senate because he endorsed Christy Todd Whitman, the baby-killing governor of New Jersey, and Arlen Specter, the baby-killing senator from Pennsylvania. In other words, Rick Santorum put party ahead of principle. In other words, I'd rather have a devil in my own party, even though he or she is a baby-killing devil, because he's in my party. You see, that means that he does not put principle first. And he has tried desperately to regroup and to stand strong for the babies and for life and for marriage when he's off camera, when he's not on the national stage, when he's not debating. But he keeps flinching when the big lights are on him. I like the man, but he's not going to win the nomination. Someone might pick him to be vice president because he says, I can win a swing state. But he's not going to get the nomination, and I blame it in part on him for not standing strong for principle when he was in the U.S. Senate. I personally asked him, would you make it a crime to kill a baby? He said yes for the abortionist, but not for the mother. I'm sorry, Senator Santorum, that is completely inconsistent. All right, Newt Gingrich. Newt is a Roman Catholic. He recently converted to the Roman Catholic Church. That means he's a thinker. No one converts to the church at his age in life without thinking it through and really believing in the dogmas of the church. The problem is he has not allowed those dogmas and the teachings of John Paul II and other great theologians of the church to get into his soul. Newt endorsed the baby-killing Republican in New York's 23rd special election. Remember that? When there was an independent in the race who could have won, who almost won, who was a true liberty-loving, God-fearing pro-lifer. And Newt Gingrich, again, like Rick Santorum, put party ahead of principle. So evidently, his faith has not found its way through to the hierarchy of righteousness and evil that is delineated by the Catholic Church. I like Newt Gingrich. He is, without question, in my opinion, the smartest man in the Republican bunch that is running for office. But it's not enough to have smarts. You have to have the hierarchy of ethics that says at the top of this ladder is the defense of innocent human life. And that is nowhere to be found in his platform. When I come back from this break, we will look at Ron Paul, Rick Perry, Mitt Romney, Herman Cain, and we will have yet another installment of our exclusive interview from Jerusalem with Matt Staver, the legendary Christian Supreme Court attorney who is the head of Liberty University's law school. So much more. Don't go away.
The mountain roads in West Virginia are outfitted with signs that say, "Look out for fallen rocks." To which my father said, "Let the fallen rocks look out for themselves."
Hi, Joe Costello here, founder of Kylea Health and Energy. I've been making superb nutritional supplements for over 15 years, and from day one, I've partnered with Randall, helping to fund his invaluable work in reclaiming our country's biblical and godly roots. I want to share with you a product that has changed hundreds of thousands of lives since its inception.
Introducing the Total Living Drinks, Greens and Berry, the ultimate superfood formulas that provide you the 9 essential areas of nutrition your body needs on a daily basis. Each serving of the Total Living Drink provides the life-giving phytonutrients that come from the equivalent of 5 servings of organic vegetables and berries, enzymes for better digestion and nutrient absorption, protein for building lean muscle mass so you can burn more fat for fuel, probiotics for better intestinal function, herbs for building energy and stamina, antioxidants for maximum immune function and disease prevention, and all the vitamins and minerals you need for slowing down aging and maximum health. You would have to take 30 to 40 capsules each day and spend almost $10 a day to match the over 30,000 milligrams of total nutrition in each scoop of the Total Living Drink. Order right now and get started on the amazing Total Living Drink. They come in 2 delicious flavors, Total Living Drink Greens and Total Living Drink Berry. And every single dollar we receive, we give a generous amount to Randall Terry's organization to help further his work and further the kingdom. Visit us online at the address on your screen and receive an online discount or call the toll-free number. Call today, and for the daily price of a latte, you can get back on the road to better health and energy with Kylea's Total Living Drink.
Moments with Moses. They shall pursue you until you perish. And the heavens over your head shall be brass, and the earth under you shall be iron.
Welcome back to the program, friend. Ron Paul. Ron Paul professes to be a Christian. Ron Paul's baptized, therefore we have to believe in his faith. Ron Paul's problem as a candidate is that he believes that the Constitution of the United States is the starting point for governmental ethics. He doesn't understand, or at least he doesn't proclaim, that beneath the Constitution is the Declaration of Independence. Beneath that are the laws of Almighty God. If you do not acknowledge a higher law, and if you do not submit to that higher law, you only want to submit to the Constitution, then you are basically freewheeling it when it comes to ethics and government. That's why he keeps getting it wrong on foreign policy. There is such a thing as Augustinian foreign policy. In other words, nations do have a right to intervene in other nations for the sake of justice, for the sake of human rights, those God-given human rights. And he needs to say publicly that he would use all the power of the federal government to end child killing, human sacrifice, abortion, as we euphemistically call it, and he has yet to do that, and so he's missing the mark. Next, Rick Perry. Rick Perry, Well, he says he's an evangelical. A lot of the evangelical community love him. But here's the thing, folks. Rick Perry, as the governor of Texas, let the largest baby killing center probably in the Western Hemisphere open in Houston, Texas, okay? Literally the largest baby killing center in America, probably in the Western Hemisphere. And what did he do to stop it? Nothing. When he said his grand and awesome prayer in front of the evangelicals, did he acknowledge the blood of the innocent on our hands? Nope. What does that mean? Well, it means that he's, in my opinion, playing religious games. Look at Isaiah chapter 1. Though you spread out your hands in prayer, I will not hear you, because your hands are covered with blood, God said. God said, I won't listen to you because you have not protected the innocent babies who are being sacrificed. Read it for yourself, Isaiah chapter 1. Let's go to Herman Cain. Herman Cain is clearly a Christian. Herman Cain is really smart when it comes to economics. He has acknowledged over and over that he does not have a good grasp on foreign policy. He says that he'll gather all the facts, he'll have good advisors around him, and then he'll make a decision. I accept that. What I am troubled about with Herman Cain is that he has not said that he would use the presidency to only appoint judges to the Supreme Court that would overturn Roe versus Wade, right? He has not said, yes, I'll have a litmus test, but to his credit, he says he's against abortion for all reasons. Any reason, rape, incest, the only time that it would be legal to kill a baby is when the life of the mother is immediately threatened, which is part of historic Christian teaching, whether it's self-defense by the mother or secondary effect. That's not, the goal is not just to kill the baby, but to protect the life of the mother. So, we're going to learn more about Herman Cain as time goes on. Finally, Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney is a disaster. Mitt Romney gave people in Massachusetts the ability to kill their baby for a $50 copay. When the Supreme Court of Massachusetts said create homosexual marriage, what did Mitt Romney do? He stepped and he fetched, and he even cut some kind of a backdoor deal with the homosexual lobby, saying, I'll let you guys have this, but don't oppose me for the presidency. At least that's what I have read in various news reports. Whether that exact detail is true or not, this we know. He gave up the babies, helped the babies be slaughtered for a $50 copay, and he did not do his constitutional duty to oppose the Supreme Court of Massachusetts and threaten them with impeachment for demanding that they create homosexual marriage out of thin air. Instead, he caved in on all fronts and, oh, by the way, gave Massachusetts socialized medicine. How can he oppose Obamacare when he gave almost the exact same thing or worse to Massachusetts? The man is a farce. Okay, folks? He's a farce. He is Obama with white skin, and he is a heretic as a Mormon. And that affects his public policy, as I said, when it comes to embryonic stem cell research. He doesn't believe that human life begins at conception because he's a Mormon. He believes human life begins at implantation, which is a violation of Christian teaching. And it has direct impact on the policy that he would implement as a president who holds to Mormon theology. I'm going to take a quick break. When we come back, another installment from my exclusive interview with Matt Staver from Jerusalem. He's the head of Liberty University's law school, and he is a Supreme Court attorney, a brilliant mind. You're going to love this interview. Think about these candidates as I've gone over them, folks. Think in terms of principle. This is harder than it looks.
Hi, Joe Costello here, founder of Kailea Health and Energy. I want to share with you a product that has changed hundreds of thousands of lives.
Introducing the Total Living Drinks, Greens and Berry, the ultimate superfood formulas that provide you the 9 daily essential areas of nutrition your body needs. Each scoop provides the life-giving phytonutrients that come from the equivalent of 5 servings of organic vegetables and berries, probiotics for better intestinal function, antioxidants for disease prevention, and vitamins and minerals for establishing maximum health. Order now and get started on the Total Living Drink. When you do, a generous gift will go to Randall Terry's organization to help further his work and further the kingdom. Order online and receive an online discount or call the toll-free number. Call today and enjoy maximum health and energy.
A nation without a conscience is a nation without a soul. A nation without a soul is a nation that cannot live. Sir Winston Churchill. We were recently in Jerusalem. I had the privilege of doing a lengthy interview with Matt Staver, who is the head of the law school at Liberty University. He is also a Supreme Court attorney. We talked about life, liberty, law, under God, and the pro-life movement. I know that you will enjoy this segment of the interview. Those of you who don't know what Matt is talking about, during the time of Jefferson's presidency, there were about 1 million white Europeans and Americans that were in chains as slaves in North Africa, in the Barbary Coast, and held hostage by Muslim rulers, building towers and palaces for them.
That's exactly right. And so I think we need to understand our history. And when we understand our history, what Jefferson realized is that negotiation is not going to be the panacea. It's not going to be the option.
You have to wonder if Jefferson ever put 2 and 2 together and said, maybe this is God judging us. We've got all these black people in chains. We're enslaving our fellow humans, and some of our citizens are slaves now.
But I think, in fact,
we reap what we sow.
I think that's, in fact, what we see. John Adams, our second president, was the father of the Navy. But he felt that it would be not available to deploy the Navy against the Muslim countries, Libya and Algiers and some of those, because the American people couldn't stand a long, prolonged war. Jefferson was dispatched by Adams to try to negotiate, and Jefferson quickly realized negotiation is not an option. And so when he became president after Adams, he immediately deployed the Navy, and that's when we entered into the treaty with Tripoli.
Any word of encouragement to Christians about getting involved in the political process and staying there?
Oh, yes. I think, what happened in the 2010 election was a good step forward, but it's only a step forward. And in fact, had the 2010 election not happened, President Barack Obama would have had even greater weight.
Well, you and I are old enough to remember 80, 84, when the religious right really was in its heyday. Yes. And then a lot of the players on the religious right and the foot soldiers just went away.
Yeah. When Christians show up to vote, there is a correlation between more people in Congress become elected who are pro-life. And when you have more pro-life members of the House and Senate, you have more pro-life legislation. There is a direct correlation. What you also have is a direct correlation in 2006 and 2008. And in 2008, we have the most pro-abortion Congress in American history.
Well, the tragedy is that 55% of Catholics voted for Obama, 33% of evangelicals voted for Obama. Thank you, Matt. When we come back, one of those incendiary quotes from one of those revolutionary fathers of our country. Oh, that will teach us how to pick our next president. For behold, God is my helper, and the Lord is the protector of my soul. Turn back the evils upon my enemies, and cut them off in thy truth.
Hi, Joe Costello here, founder of Kailea Health and Energy. I want to share with you a product that has changed hundreds of thousands of lives.
Introducing the Total Living Drinks, Greens and Berry, the ultimate superfood formulas that provide you the 9 daily essential areas of nutrition your body needs. Each scoop provides the life-giving phytonutrients that come from the equivalent of 5 servings of organic vegetables and berries, probiotics for better intestinal function, antioxidants for disease prevention, and vitamins and minerals for establishing maximum health. Order now and get started on the Total Living Drink. When you do, a generous gift will go to Randall Terry's organization to help further his work and further the kingdom. Order online and receive an online discount or call the toll-free number. Call today and enjoy maximum health and energy.
Daniel Webster said, "If the power of the gospel is not felt throughout the length and breadth of the land, anarchy and misrule, degradation and misery, corruption and darkness will reign without mitigation or end." Friend, one of the problems that we have in the evangelical community is that people think that the power of the gospel felt throughout the land simply means that we preach about Jesus and personal salvation and everything will be okay. Well, that's simply not true. Personal salvation is critical for a person's soul and salvation, but that is not what Daniel Webster meant when it came to misrule, degradation throughout the land. He's talking about the words of Christ where he said, "All authority in heaven and earth is mine. Go and teach all nations to observe all things that I have commanded you." In other words, the gospel impacts public life, civil government, and we need to bring, without shame, without embarrassment, the principles and laws of Jesus Christ to politics.